I got to ask you guys this. Have you ever thought, with any criticism you got being a player, that, man, I'd love the opportunity to show up to somebody's work and do the things and say the things to them that they've done and said to me? Have you ever thought, just in a quiet moment, man, wouldn't it be great to just show up at somebody's place of business and give them the business literally like they give to me as a professional athlete and a first-round pick and a very successful one at that? Have you ever thought about that at any point during your life?
All right. I was thinking about this, and I know where this is coming from.
Okay.
I honestly have actually thought about that.
Oh, wow.
You know, how people in the real world would handle that.
Right.
And I do think there's a crowd out there who would be like, you know, maybe they'd be into that. You know, maybe that pump them up or fire them up a little bit for all what that entails. I'll just say this. When you get compensated like you do as a professional athlete, you have to realize there's a lot that goes along with that. Your life is no longer private. You give people the ability for what you're being compensated to, when you're not performing well, to boo you. That's part of the deal. That's part of all of it. And as much as, you know, you can look at the fame and the lifestyle and everything else that comes with it, you also have to understand there's going to be some bad too. And that's what bothers me about this idea where athletes feel like they can't be booed, whether it's by their opposing fans, their own fans. Now, I think there's a line that people can cross at times. But you are being paid millions of dollars. Your life has changed. Your kids' lives have changed. In some cases, generations have changed. Suck it up. Suck it up. Like, deal with what comes with that, and stop complaining about it, and just be thankful. Like, be thankful for the fact that you're there and not somewhere else. That's all I have to say about it.
Yes, I have showed up to work feeling that way, but not about the fans. If the fans are booing, if they feel a certain type of way, if the community is negatively reinforcing what's going on, you have to understand that's part of the business. I mean, you learned that a really, really long time ago, and it's not supposed to change once you become a professional athlete. The fans owe you nothing. They owe you nothing. Yes, they can cross the line. Yes, they can say things that they shouldn't be able to say, or maybe held accountable by someone or something. Maybe that person is removed from the stadium or removed from the facility or whatever it may be. They may be visiting. I don't know what it is. But it's not from you, the player. That's not for you to dictate and to decide. And that's just what the culture has bred. That's just what it is. You have to have a mindset and a mental focus that allows for you to be able to perform no matter what the given scenario or circumstances or environment may be. That's why they call it hostile environments, even if that hostile environment is your own fans.
Well, listen, I mean, all of that is compelling. I tend to side with you guys, but then another first-round pick named Baker Mayfield, he made an appearance yesterday on the You Never Know podcast, and he had a different opinion on how he'd like to handle these situations.
You look at a bunch of other sad stories, it's like, if guys don't play ball, then bad happens.
Right.
Like, that's their way out.
Right.
And so when people are, like, so critical of it, it's like, these guys are, that's the way
Life's on the line.
I would love to show up to somebody's cubicle and just boo the out of them.
Yeah.
And watch them crumble.
10,000 people.
Now, I'm wrong.
This guy sucks.
I'm wrong for saying that. I'm wrong for saying that.
We talk about that all the time, though. We said that on the show.
I've said that literally on the show.
So there it is. So that's one way to handle it. Yeah,
that's weak. You're weak.
Hey, LaVar, you covered him this year. A game he was booed at by the by Browns fans. So again, I think you're maybe part of the root of the issue here. I mean,
first
you were at
off,
that game.
make the type of cash that person in that cubicle makes.
Right.
I'd be sitting in that cubicle like, really, dude? Like $18.50 an hour. You know, like, you want to boo me? Let me get up. I'll boo this cubicle with you. Like, nah. No, you make too much money, and you're a quarterback. So if you've earned being booed, you can't make the comparison. You're going to boo me in a cubicle. That's weak mindset.
It honestly is, and that's where, like, when you make those sorts of comments and that's how you feel, then you're focused on the wrong things. Like, you're going to be in that cubicle sooner than later when that's your mindset. It really is. Like, I remember early on thinking always this, and I learned this from when I played at Notre Dame, right? Everyone's rooting for you during football season. But then we played this bookstore basketball tournament in the spring. And the entire campus, it's the largest 5-on-5 outdoor basketball tournament in the world. Literally, there's like hundreds of teams, and it goes the entire spring. So as soon as we had a squad and we started playing my freshman year, and we ended up winning it my freshman year. I think we won it. We never got beat, but we won it 2 out of the 3 years we were playing in it. But you would hear some of the most outrageous trash talk you've ever heard because now it was different. When they were up in the stands and we were on the field, they were cheering for you. But once you had to go up against them, then all the student body was talking trash, saying all kinds of stuff. And I'm saying, like, I stopped a game one time and literally walked over to a group of dudes, and one kid ran off. And I was like, y'all better go chase him. I was like, because you're all going to get it once I'm done with this game. I mean, there was all sorts of stuff being said. And I knew at that moment, the same people that are going to cheer for you are going to be the same people one day that boo you, right? And I never wanted to put any weight in any of it, the good or the bad. And that's the problem is if he's putting that much stock or weight in listening to the chatter and listening to the boos and listening to all of that, he's focused on the wrong thing. So it's, I mean, to LaVar's point too, dude, you were the first overall pick in a draft class. You signed an almost $22 million signing bonus. Like, you're going to compare yourself to someone who works in a cubicle? That's just, it's low-hanging fruit, man. You're picking on the little guy. Like, that's what you're doing right now because your circumstances aren't the way you want them to be. And I get it. Look, I've been in Cleveland. I know how things can work in your favor and work against you or turn against you fast. And I'm sure he feels disrespected by how they handle this stuff. But that's the reality is, it is not a right to play in the NFL. It's a privilege, and he's got to understand that. So no one needs to treat him with any respect. That's not what that game's about. It's about staying in as long as you can, trying to be as successful as you can until it's over.
I just love the idea. I was thinking to myself, man, we haven't heard from Baker Mayfield in a few weeks. I was thinking it this week, and I thought,
I think he was thinking that too.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem. Like, he can't help himself. Like, he just can't help himself, and maybe this is why he turns so many people off.